Welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with the host, Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by Marla Bace, Charley Johnson, and Nathan McFarlane. Welcome to the show, guests.
Thank you for having us.
They're super excited. Can't you just tell? The energy's just bouncing off them at the moment. All right, let's load up the board. Today we've got biology, cowboys and cattlemen, geography, fine china, anatomy and potent potables, which is drinks. Marla, you can kick things off.
Okay, let's do fine china for 100.
Fine china. Circa 1800, Josiah Spode II created this by adding powdered bone to hard paste porcelain. If anybody knows, they can holler out the answer.
What is china?
It is actually bone china. There's a kind of subtype. I have heard of it somehow. All right, you're still in control. Marla.
Okay, let's try geography for 100.
Geography for 100. Besides North America, it's the only continent completely north of the equator.
What is Greenland?
Europe is what we're looking for.
Europe. Okay.
Of course it's north of the equator. Although Spain and everything's quite close. What would you like next, Marla?
Oh boy. Let's go back to fine china for 200.
Fine china for 200. Glass-like substance used in painting decorations on china, whether over or under.
What is glaze?
It's did you say glaze or lay?
Glaze.
It's lay, actually. That is the correct answer. But I thought glaze is what you do when you put that stuff on. So you were pretty close. I'd almost give it to you. But I'm feeling stingy today. Marla, what would you like next?
Oh boy. Potent potables for 100.
Potent potables 100. Flavour shared by Tia Maria and Galways. They're both alcoholic drinks and they have a certain flavour. It's a flavour that you also have in the morning to get you going.
What is coffee?
Coffee is what we're looking for. Well done. What would you like next?
Let's stay in the category and go for 200.
200 potent potables. The French term for wine waiter.
What is a sommelier?
Sommelier is correct. Well done. And you pronounced it seemingly correct as well, which I would not have done. Marla, what would you like next?
Let's stay in the category for 300.
Potent potables 300. Italian for sparkling. Its use is applied to genuine sparkling wines. Charlie looks like he knows this one.
I'm just kind of looking at confusion on my face.
What is Prosecco? What is Cava?
It is actually spumante.
Ooh.
It's what happens to me if I have too much wine.
I'm not doing well.
You got 300. Marla, what would you like?
Let's stay in the category for 400.
Potent potables 400. If anyone knows, you can holler the answer. Traditionally in England, 2 jiggers equal 1 jack and 2 jacks equal this. Some sort of measurement of drink. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Let's take a look at the answer. It is a Jill. They're names for, like, you know, having a nip of whiskey. I think that's what they are. Some British words. None of us are British, so we have no idea. Would you like to finish off potent potable? Oh, sorry, Nathan, you're British, aren't you? Sorry, mate. How dare I? Yeah, you're a drinker as well. All right, the last one. I just chose it for you. This grain is the main ingredient of both Irish and Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, that's all on you. I'm going to leave that one for you.
It's actually barley. Hand in your British drinking credentials, Nathan. All right. You still in control, Marla?
Oh boy. Let's go back to Fine China for 300.
Fine China for 300. France's Sèvres factory first developed the color bleu de rose, bleu de rose, now commonly called this. It's a color that featured in China. If you know French, you'll know. Bleu is blue. De is like of. Roy, I don't know, or Roy. It is royal white. So maybe the bleu is not blue. Who knows? Anyway, that question sucked. Let's do another one, Marla.
Oh boy. Let's try Cowboys and Cattlemen.
Cowboys and Cattlemen for 100. Famed Texas cattle breed that was brought over by the Spanish explorers.
What is Longhorn?
Longhorn, says Charley. Well done, Charley. You got it. You're in control. The dark horse has entered the game.
Biology for 100.
Biology for 100. Mycology is the branch of biology that studies mushrooms, yeasts, molds, and other types of these.
What are fungi?
Fungi is correct. Well done. I was going to say it's just people that are like me, but I thought that was a bad joke, even by my standards. Marla, what would you like?
Let's try biology for 200.
Biology for 200. Fibrogen is a protein material that helps the blood in doing this. Helps the blood do something. Clotting? Sorry?
What is clotting?
Clotting, that sounds pretty good to me. Is correct. Well done, Marla.
Let's go with biology for 300.
Biology for 300. Common term for a female gamete. Geez, this could be dicey. Common term for a female gamete.
What is an egg?
Egg. Let's take a look. Well done. Phew.
I would never pick this category. What is biology for 400?
Biology 400. People usually refer to adipose tissue as this.
Come on, guys. I don't got this one.
I think, yeah, fat sounds good. Well done. Nathan, you're on the board there for 400. Which one, sorry? Geography 200. North Yemen and South Yemen are both found on this Mid-East peninsula. Is correct. Well done, Nathan. Out of nowhere. Geography for 300. In the mid-1960s, France began building a space center near Kourou in this, its South American territory. Have they still got one? French Guiana. Well done. What would you like, Nathan? Somebody loved geography in high school, I think. This Yugoslavian Republic, so formerly part of the Yugoslavia. This is an old question. We're just calling it a Yugoslavian Republic. It'll probably be one of those Yugoslavian countries. Hope you know what I mean by that. Covers part of and shares its name with Alexander the Great's ancient home. Right. Anybody else want to have a guess? There's about 3 or 4 of them. You got a good chance of getting it right. It is Macedonia. Now, I don't know how, but I knew this one, and I'm not very smart. But you're still in control, Nathan. Geography for 500. Most of the 60 to 70 people who live on this South Pacific island are descendants of the mutineers. Cook Islands. Oh, wow. No, it's actually, but that's a good answer. It's Pitcairn Island, but yeah. So they must have did they mutineer from an English ship and then join up with the Pacific Islanders? Interesting. Anyway, what would you like? Geography's done. Anatomy 100. The basilic, cephalic, and jugular are types of these. Anybody else?
I was going to say what he was going to say.
Yeah,
Well-
that would have been my guess.
Can you be more specific? Which one would you want? Being as I didn't like the first one.
Go with artery.
Oh, it was vein. I'm giving it to you.
Oh,
I nearly messed you up. So you got it. You got it the first time. Ignore me. Yeah, I'm seldom helpful with my clues. What would you like next? 200 anatomy. The lowest four ribs attached only to the backbone are called by this buoyant name. And if you break your ribs, it's usually one of these ones. Buoyant. That's the clue. We're looking for floating ribs. So they're not connected to your sternum. They're just sort of hanging there. Well, they're connected to your backbone, of course. They're not completely floating. What would you like, Nathan? Anatomy 300 of the larynx, pharynx, or trachea, the one that serves as a passageway for both food and air. There seems to be one too many there. I mean, pharynx?
I'd say pharynx.
Yeah.
You reckon it's pharynx, Charlie?
Yes.
Let's take a look. Well done, Charlie. Charlie's on 400.
Shop dark. Yeah, anatomy for 400.
Anatomy for 400. Bile secreted by the liver is stored in this organ until needed for digestion.
What is the gallbladder?
The gallbladder is correct. Well done. You're in control now. What would you like?
Let's finish the category at 500.
Anatomy. That was what it was, wasn't it? Not biology. These tiny air sacs in the lungs are where gas exchange takes place. Well done. Nathan. Great work. What would you like? Biology, 500. In any vertebrae, the occiput is the posterior part of this. So a vertebrae is any animal with a backbone. The occiput is the posterior part of this.
What is the tailbone?
Sorry?
What is the tailbone?
It's on
I
the
don't
other
think
end.
that's right.
It's the skull.
Okay.
The
Oh,
base of the
okay.
skull. All right. How are we going? We've got 1,300, 1,500, and 400. Charlie is set to get all of these correct and storm into the lead. It could happen. What would you like? Whoever's in control. Marla?
No. Fine china for 400.
Fine china 400. English potter famed for his pale blue jasper ware. He was grandfather to Charles Darwin. Who the heck is going to know about fine china? English potter. He was the grandfather of Charles Darwin. Oh, is it Dalton? Oh, it was a good answer because there is a Dalton China, but it was Wedgwood. It was the other one. I reckon you could have got that one if you using that strategy. But well done, even though you got it wrong. Marla.
Let's finish the category for 500.
500. Though it's named for nearby East German city, this fine porcelain is a specialty of Meissen men. But it's spelt Meissen the German way. It's named for a nearby East German city, which is just a German city these days, but it's got to be something to do with that Meissenberg or something. That's my guess. The answer is Dresden, China. Oh, well. Let's wrap things up there anyway. 1,300,
Cowboy.
Marla. Nathan on 1,500. You won it with the geography questions, I think.
Oh.
Charlie on 400. But I think Charlie knew a few more answers and he was just being polite. Well done, everyone. All right, let's pop over to Marla. Marla, tell us a bit about what you've been up to. You worked in the corporate world and now you're training leaders. Is that correct?
Yes, I am a business and leadership coach. I spent 30 years in everything from corporate to small, medium-sized and entrepreneur organizations as a head of marketing, head of customer experience, ran Amex Concierge as GM for a few years. So I've brought all of that to my current profession, which is coaching. And I really work with accomplished professionals and business owners, helping them bridge that gap between success and being fulfilled. So staying true to themselves.
And what is it that people are searching for that you're finding? You're saying that you mostly work with established people, and then they're finding something is not right. What is the something that they are coming to you for?
Usually, it's either getting to the next level of their business. So they've already achieved $1 million and they had a great idea. They were innovative and they've done it from scratch, but they themselves haven't come from that kind of a background where they understand how to properly hire, who to hire, what procedures to put in place, things that will help them, as Dan Sullivan says, spend their time in their 20%. So I often, with the business owners, help them find who their who is, as opposed to how to do something, because they're pretty much programmed on the how. And with professionals, it's usually what is that item that is going to either get them noticed by their organization or give them the confidence to go in and ask for what it is that they want. So oftentimes, someone will have just changed either a geographic location, if they're an accountant, an attorney, and they've been successful where they had always been, and now they're somewhere else and they're trying to build back what they had. Or I have some clients that as a result of what's going on in the world, their landscape is changing and they're saying, okay, I've been really successful doing what I'm doing. I now need to do that in another place. So I won't say career coach. It's truly getting that person to their next goal in their life.
And what
making sure they have a purpose.
Sorry, what percentage of these people are working as a professional for somebody else versus, their own company?
Over the last year, it's been 50-50. So having said that, though, most of the individuals have a team. They're already a managing director or they're a partner somewhere. So even though it's not their own company, they have a division or something that they are also responsible for.
Interesting. And have you got anything coming up that you want to plug?
Nope. Actually, that's one of the things that I am very proud of. I am not one of those online coaches that has a free webinar or free course.
Well, just be careful that the next guests don't. They might very well have a free webinar.
No, I'm just saying it is something that I really work with people one-on-one, and I help them achieve their goals in a 90-day time. So I do not have anything to plug at this time.
Awesome. Well, if that sounds like something you've been looking at getting some coaching happening. Do you work a lot with women? I know that women coaches attract a lot of women. Do you have a Do you find a majority of your clients are women?
I have half and half. It's interesting. When I left being a CMO, I found a lot of my first clients that came over to me were men CMOs who were looking for their next opportunity. Not necessarily as another CMO, but they were at that point in their career that they wanted to reinvent themselves. And I think they felt safe because I was an accomplished woman, but they weren't going to have to justify themselves. They had a different alternative path that they wanted to go down. I do find when it comes to actual accountants and attorneys and those types of professionals, I am attracting more women.
Oh, gotcha. So it just depends on the industry. Well, that's interesting. That's Marla Bace there. And if you would like to get in touch with Marla, we've got her details in the show notes. And if you're a bit stuck, you've hit a plateau, and you just need a bit of guidance, coaching is always highly recommended way of getting through whatever. When you get stuck, you always get stuck in little stages, and you need to get somebody in. And it just always seems to work, in my opinion. So thank you very much for coming on, Marla.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, let's pop over the pond and up on the other side of the world from me. Nathan, tell us about what you're up to. Are you in London? Oh, you just next door. Let's just slow it down a bit so I can understand. So your platform, you've got people who create content, and then you've got people with commercial offers. So are these two types of users of your platform? Yeah. So, so people are using the platform, and I still really don't understand this. So, if I'm creating content and I post it on there, then you've got who's the providing the links for the transactions? Like, where's the money coming from? So you get a whole bunch of like affiliate offers, and you put them on there. If people want to come on and promote them, so it just allows you to promote all sorts of different offers, and also leverage other people's audiences. I gotcha. Okay, so does it help you when you post your content? Does it prompt affiliate links for you to include? Okay. Yep. Okay, so your software, it connects to Instagram and Facebook and all that through the API. Is that right? No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. So you've created a new social media platform that integrates all the affiliate offers, and then when people post them, it automatically generates links and all of that stuff. So, okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's very different, and that's called Creatria. See, it took me a while to understand that. 'Cause I told you I'm not very smart. Um, and yeah, rather than just posting on the other platforms, I guess the battle for you is to get people to use this platform that aren't just trying to make money. How do you find that hurdle? No. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's got some interesting points to it. Well, check it out. It's free to sign up, isn't it, Nathan? Gee, you're really teeing off on America at the moment. Yeah, yeah. Redistribute. And is this all bootstrapped, or have you got investors to help you get? Awesome. Well, that's interesting. I like it when people, having a crack at creating something different. So that's Nathan with Creatria. Is that how I say it? Creatria. Nathan McFarlane. Thank you, Nathan, for bringing that to our awareness. All right, let's pop over to Charley. Charley, what have you been up to? You're the chief... I've forgotten already. What was it? Chief Enlightenment Officer?
Chief Consciousness Officer.
Chief Consciousness Officer. Okay,
Yes.
I was barking up a similar tree, not the right tree. And tell us what a Chief Consciousness Officer is.
Well, there's a massive shift on this planet happening right now. Humanity's never been through something like this. So in regards to Nathan's thing, he has never chosen a better time for what he's doing, because there's going to be an incredible amount of people shifting away from what's happened in the past, and they're going to be looking for a new solution. They're not going to be looking to tear things down. I know there's a vast majority or minority of people who want to tear everything down, but we don't want to tear everything down. We want to just make it better. We want to build a better system. We want better people. We want more clarity. We want new ways to make money. And that thing that Nathan's building is perfect timing for the way consciousness is shifting on this planet. So a chief consciousness officer is going to bring consciousness to business. It is not a spiritual tactic. It's tactical. It's mechanical. It is one of the most powerful things it's everything. Consciousness is everything physical and non-physical. And all we've done for the last few thousand years, especially in the last couple hundred years, is we've focused on the mind. The mind's just a middleman. And the same mind that created the problem can't solve it. So all of this stuff's breaking down right now. So the same minds that created the system that's breaking down are now trying to solve it. This shit doesn't work. We need to tap into that vast resource of consciousness. Everything came from consciousness. Consciousness is everything. Knowledge is structured in the consciousness. Every book you've ever read, every video you've ever watched, everything you've ever learned, anything you've ever thought, any idea that Nathan's come up with, any idea that anyone has come up with came from consciousness, not the mind. The mind's a very limited structure. We've taken this vast resource when we were born. We've gone to college. We've learned. Our parents taught us something. We're Republican, we're Democrat, we're Catholic, we're atheist, we're Buddhist, we're this. We have minimized our options. We've minimized our solutions. We've minimized how we see the planet. So a chief consciousness officer coming into a business is going to bring clarity. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of conflict between employees and executives. There's a lot of division and conflict between executives, between CEOs. If unknowingly, if someone is a devout Catholic and they know their co-worker's an atheist, they're not going to listen to them. I know that sounds asinine. I know we always say to each our own, but to each our own is thrown out the window as soon as someone's pushed into a corner. So I've got 20 years of business, owning businesses in the background. I've got 7 years with a nonprofit with Pay It Forward. And then I've got 10 years with an enlightened teacher. And this teacher was a very, very powerful individual. 99% of the people who cross his path end up in the Himalayas. They just leave the world behind. And the spiritual world, which I was heavily involved with for 10 years, we usually leave corporations behind. We think corporations are evil. We think money's evil. It didn't give us what we wanted, so we jump onto the spiritual path, right? It's like a Catholic becoming an atheist. It's heads to tails of the same coin. So for the last 20 years, there's been a lot of spiritual escapism. We need to just combine the two worlds. We need to work together with this. We don't need to tear anything down, because when we tear something down, it hurts everyone. And we as humans are not capable of dealing with that. Look at the world. Look how chaotic it is. Look how divided it is.
Look at the stock market.
What's that?
Look at the stock market.
Exactly. Before creation comes destruction. So this is all a natural process. It's the shift that's going to happen is not the typical, we're going to drop and we're going to come back up. When we come back up and we shift like this, it's going to be on an internal level. It's going to be about consciousness. It has nothing to do with humans. When humans are left to their own devices, look what we do. Look at the shit we create. This is an internal shift that's driving everyone to let go of everything they've ever suppressed, anything they've not wanted to deal with. And when this happens, you're going to want someone on staff who understands consciousness. Because the first question everyone asks is, what's consciousness? And the greatest metaphor is wise fish swimming through the ocean, swims by two young fish, says, "Hey boys, how's the water?" Two fish look at each other and say, "What's water?" That's consciousness. You, me, every guest on this listening, every listener, we're swimming in consciousness. Everything planetary, humanitarian, everything physical and non-physical is consciousness, but everything we've ever dealt with is the mind. We've got to stop dealing with the middleman. We've got to tap back into that vast resource.
Charley, are you somebody who is advocating for a new position to be created in companies, or are you somebody who offers their services to the said companies and are building a case for why it's needed?
Both. I've been doing a lot of interviews like this, and it's been surprising to hear these individuals say, "I wouldn't have had you on in the last 3 to 6 months." The timelines and the time that is being sped up on this planet, everyone can feel it. Everyone can feel it. So they have me on. They start talking about how I can be involved in business, but I can't imagine another position needs to be hired. It's kind of like when technology took over a business and everyone started hiring CTOs. When we start to understand that everything is consciousness and we need that shift, Chief Consciousness Officer is going to be that next hire. And that's something I'm kind of pushing out there, trying to get into the forefront in the awareness of companies and businesses.
Interesting, Charley. And how do you find the CEO's reception to this idea? It sounds like, they might think, who is this guy? Has he just drunk a whole lot of magic mushrooms? And are they open to it, or are they...
well, every time I talk to a CEO, I'm high as hell on mushrooms, so it really doesn't work out too well. So they're actually very open to it, because again, I'm not talking about it from a spiritual realm. I'm talking about this from a very tactical understanding, very tactical, something that allows a CEO to take their awareness that's here, and they're very intelligent, and expand it. It expands their solutions. It expands the time they stop wasting in meetings. If someone like a true Chief Consciousness Officer walks into a meeting, it breaks down the walls and the division in the room without fail. It's just this natural thing that brings everyone out. Start talking to VP, start talking to middle managers, start talking to customer service. You start to really understand who they are, and it just becomes something that less division, less conflict, more time saved. It's just
it's interesting, Charley. So it's basically a position where somebody comes in and they're saying, look, can we do this a different way? And just kind of examining everything, the ways, the processes, the goals that everybody has. And somebody is just taking that role of can we do this better? And because it's a role that doesn't exist currently in corporate structure.
It does not. There was a lady that I've spoken with that was the first. So she did it 12 to 15 years ago with a few organizations, and then it kind of petered out. The timing is perfect. This is an individual that, for the last 20 years, a lot of businesses have done wellness programs. Look at the world, right? This is not about meditation. This is not about yoga. This is not about mindfulness. This is not about it's all one, it's all love. There's a considerable amount of people on this planet that have a certain level of consciousness. Again, we don't want to destroy that structure. We don't want to destroy their systems. We just want to look at it with a little bit more clarity, right? Say you're driving down the freeway. You get into a car and the windshield is just caked with Crisco. You're guessing what's on the other side, right? That's a very low level of consciousness. That's why we've created the world we've created. What a CCO will do is they'll start to wipe the Crisco off the windshield of everyone inside that organization. And once we see past that windshield of what's really on the other side, it's just natural for humans to have a little bit more compassion, a little bit more empathy, and more importantly, less division and less conflict.
That is something that is come to a head, like you said. And the whole, who's part of my tribe, who's against my tribe, who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, who's a Christian, who's an atheist, and it's just causing us to become so polarized that not me personally, but a lot of people, and it's causing everything to seize up almost and stop functioning. And Charley, you're saying, look, we need to get ahead of the curve because it's not going to work. We're seeing signs that the way we're going is not working, and I think a lot of people, business people that I know, would be very interested in learning about this, to be honest. And this book that you've written, is this a new or an older book?
Came out late last year.
True. Okay, so this is all current. Truth Has No Sides, and this is probably a good way to get your brain around what you're talking about, Charley, would you say?
Yes, it was just kind of a story of the last 10 years with my teacher, meeting the individuals I crossed paths with, understanding that spirituality's become just a new religion. It's just as dogmatic as the religion that most people leave behind. Understanding that every single experience, every type of idea, belief, any type of division or conflict this world has created, it's all coming from the same place. It is literally all coming from the same place. So, like you said, a Republican believes the Democrats are ruining the world. A Democrat believes the same thing. Just bringing that to the forefront and giving people the awareness that just as much as you despise that other side, they despise you. So how the hell are we going to get anywhere? The division created by every kind individual on this planet who wants to rid the world of division, you're creating that same division. So it's not going to stop them from being not stopping their beliefs. It's not going to shift anything, but bringing that to their awareness, it's a subtle shift that's needed.
Charley, I think you're onto something here, and it takes, I won't say balls, it'll take chutzpah to go out on a limb with something that people are not really used to. But I think people who do something really unique can actually have a great impact. So that's Charley Johnson with Truth Has No Sides, and he's a Chief Consciousness Officer. If you want to learn more about this and maybe want to implement this in your workplace, read the book. And Charley, your LinkedIn is in the show notes. Your main way of talking to people is on LinkedIn. Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent. So maybe follow Charley and have a chat to me if you've got any questions as well. Thank you very much, Charley. That was very interesting.
Thanks for having us.
All right, I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to get in touch with our guests, please do so. Thanks, guests.